I'm 75 now, and I can't remember anybody except the Queen Bee. Queen Camilla's son, Tom Parker Bowles, has been punished in a secret case that no one is allowed to talk about. The court made its decision in private, and there are no public records. Right after that, he was removed from public life. Things got more suspicious when the palace was quiet, but some sources say something serious really happened inside the court. What did Tom do, and why is the royal family hiding it? Join us as we expose the untold truth the palace doesn't want anyone to know. The secret court moment. It was a regular Tuesday morning, nothing special in the air, yet Tom Parker Bowles quietly arrived at a plain-looking government building hidden away in the diplomatic part of London. There were no flashing cameras or curious onlookers, unlike the usual buzz that surrounds famous people facing legal trouble. The entrance wasn't labeled, and the people standing guard wore no badges or name tags, but the way they moved made it clear that they were trained, serious professionals. Tom, dressed in a plain gray suit that said nothing about his personality, was taken through a side door and disappeared from public view. He wasn't just any man. He was a respected food writer and author, someone who had skillfully juggled his ties to royalty while maintaining his own identity. But that morning, his face gave away nothing calm and unreadable as the doors shut behind him. Inside, it wasn't a normal courtroom. One insider described it more like a secret hearing than anything legal. The room was small and had no windows. Only a few people were present. 3 judges with top-level security clearance, lawyers who gave only their last names, and a defense team that, according to those close to the matter, wasn't picked by Tom himself but appointed by those in charge. This wasn't a typical trial. It looked more like a government operation hiding behind the look of a legal process designed more to control damage than to serve justice. No official charges were ever made public, but sources close to diplomatic security said the case revolved around Tom having private contact with foreign individuals. Some linked to international news agencies, others suspected of ties to foreign intelligence. It seemed Tom had been watching for a while. His usual conversations with chefs and journalists had, over time, shifted into something much more dangerous. According to a former colleague who chose to stay anonymous, Tom's exchanges started to include serious topics, details about royal routines, how palace security worked, and most shocking of all, private talks between top royals about matters involving the government. What made his situation even more serious was the kind of information he was accused of sharing. This wasn't some silly royal scandal. It wasn't about gossip or personal drama. This was about the sensitive line where the royal family meets political authority, a dark area that few dare to cross. During the hearing, which lasted about 7 hours, Tom stayed calm and polite, the same way he had always appeared in public. He only spoke when directly questioned. He didn't argue or try to defend himself loudly. People who were there said he didn't seem angry. He looked like someone who already knew how this would end. When the decision finally came that evening, it stunned even those who expected something serious. He wasn't going to jail, not in the usual sense. Instead, the ruling said he would be taken away immediately to a hidden place where he'd have no phone, no internet, no way to write or publish anything, and no visitors unless strictly approved. They called it protective isolation for national security reasons. But behind the official words, it meant that Tom Parker was being erased from public life for good. As he was let out through a private exit, he turned to the head of the security team and said one last thing. He asked for a message to be passed to his mother, saying he understood why it had to be this way. To outsiders, those words might sound strange, but for people who knew how the royal system worked, it was clear what he meant. Tom had accepted that protecting the royal family meant making sacrifices, even if it meant being cut off by his own family. By that same night, Tom was flown out of London on a military plane. Only a few people, the ones with the highest security access, know where he went. And just like that, a man who once balanced royal life and personal success disappeared into silence, leaving behind only questions and whispers in the halls of power, a royal operation in shadows. By the next morning, the royal family released a short and very unclear message. It didn't mention anything about what had really happened. All it said was that Tom Parker Bowles would be stepping away from public life for an unknown amount of time because of private health matters, and they asked that his privacy be respected. But instead of calming things down, the statement only made people more curious. It felt like something much bigger was being hidden. Behind the calm words of that announcement, a full-scale secret operation was already in motion. This wasn't just about quietly removing Tom from the spotlight. It was a well-organized plan to erase every trace of his recent actions. At the same time, trained digital security teams broke into Tom's apartment in London, his office, and even his quiet home in the countryside. Every device was taken. Laptops, phones, hard drives, paper files, personal notes, and folders were packed away too. But this was clearly more than just gathering information. Someone familiar with these kinds of secret missions explained that this was about completely wiping away his digital presence. They were deleting messages, clearing online activity, and carefully crafting a believable story that could explain his sudden absence to the world. And the way his workspaces were treated made that even clearer. Witnesses said the place where he used to write his food columns and books wasn't just searched. It was pulled apart piece by piece. External drives were taken. Even everyday things like notebooks and calendars were handled like they were classified documents. This level of care showed deep concern, not just about what Tom had already given away, but what else he might have planned to release. People on the inside feared that Tom would have arranged hidden ways to leak more information. They worried about delayed messages, secret drop points, or files already sitting with media outlets in other countries. These fears pushed the operation to the next step, cutting off anyone who might have been working with him. Editors who had worked with Tom suddenly found themselves under quiet investigation. Publishers started getting pressured to delay or completely drop any future projects involving him. It wasn't random. It was a clear effort to disconnect him from the outside world. At the same time, his online presence began to vanish. His social media accounts were either shut down or started posting in a different tone, as if someone else had taken over. TV interviews where he talked about his royal connections began disappearing from platforms. Even group photos showing him at events close to the royal family were being taken down without any explanation. But perhaps the most shocking part was what happened to his published work. His latest food columns disappeared from websites. Bookshops were told to send back his newest cookbook for supposed corrections, but no new version ever showed up. It seemed the goal wasn't just to pause his career, it was to completely erase it. A literary expert who had studied similar cases in other parts of the world believed there was more to it. They suggested that Tom's food writing could have been used to hide secret messages. To a regular reader, it might have looked like simple talk about dishes or recipes. But to some other person, the ingredients, the cooking methods, even the places he mentioned could have all carried hidden meanings. Behind palace walls, the effects of this secret trial were tearing the royal family apart. Insiders said it caused the biggest family crisis since the scandal involving Prince Andrew. The tension wasn't just about betrayal, it was about trust, survival, and the dangerous space where personal loyalty meets national secrets. Queen Camilla found herself in a heartbreaking situation, torn between her love as a mother and her responsibilities as the queen. People who knew what was happening inside the palace said she looked calm on the outside, but deep down, she was completely crushed. She was only told about the secret operation involving her son just hours before it began. It wasn't a decision she helped make because it was already decided. One palace insider said it wasn't like they were asking a mother what to do about her child. It was more like they were informing a queen about a national security matter that had to happen. No questions asked. While Camilla was drowning in silent pain, King Charles handled things very differently. Those close to him say he didn't see it as a family issue, but more like a risk to the royal family's safety. To him, it wasn't personal. It was about protecting the monarchy at all costs. This attitude has quietly strained their marriage. The usual warmth between the couple has faded. Now, moments of silence have replaced the smiles they used to share. A longtime advisor said the king sees being monarch as the core of his life. So if something threatens that, even if it involves his family, he puts duty first. Camilla hasn't yet developed the emotional toughness that's often needed in royal life. Prince William II is said to have agreed with the drastic action. People inside the palace say he saw it as a painful but necessary step to keep the monarchy safe. He was reportedly one of the people who read through Tom's secret messages and realized they could seriously damage the public's trust in the royal family, especially when it comes to staying out of politics, something that's key to the crown's survival in modern times. What shocked many was Princess Anne's quiet disagreement. Known for being serious about rules and traditions, she allegedly raised eyebrows about how the whole thing was handled. Sources said she didn't like that the move seemed to break legal boundaries. She believed that if the royal family starts acting outside the law, it puts the entire system they're trying to protect at risk. For Tom's sister, Laura Lopes, the situation has caused deep sadness. She's always lived a quiet life away from the spotlight, despite her ties to the royal world. People close to her say she's been begging to speak with her brother, but every request has been turned down because of security restrictions. One insider shared that Laura was warned that even trying to reach out might make her look guilty by association. It's a harsh but powerful way of keeping the family silent. Just showing concern could get her tangled up in the situation too. As for Queen Camilla, she has been left in an impossible situation. Friends say she's stuck between following royal rules and the pain of being a mother cut off from her son. She hasn't been allowed to talk to Tom directly since everything happened. The only updates she gets about him come from the same officials who made the decision to remove him. In public, she appears composed, smiling and attending royal events like nothing's wrong, but behind closed doors, her pain shows. Some days, she cancels plans without warning, says she's feeling unwell or just seems lost in thought. She's grieving silently while pretending everything is fine. And then came even more heartbreaking news that has made everyone question the future of the monarchy. Health challenges and crisis. The palace released a statement confirming that King Charles had been diagnosed with cancer. They didn't say what kind, but the announcement shocked the entire world. As people were still trying to process that, another devastating update surfaced that Queen Camilla herself was facing a serious health crisis. She had always been the strong one beside the king, smiling and steady no matter what. But now she was battling a dangerous illness of her own. This news hit everyone hard. People close to the royal family were deeply worried and had a lot of unanswered questions on their minds, but now the truth is slowly coming to light, and it's more emotional than anyone could have imagined. The world is watching as Queen Camilla, once seen as the calm center of the storm, faces one of the hardest moments of her life. The news has sent shockwaves not only through the United Kingdom, but around the world. Nobody saw it coming, and for many, it still doesn't feel real. Queen Camilla has revealed that she is battling a rare and life-threatening form of blood cancer known as multiple myeloma. It's one of those illnesses that many people have never heard of until it hits someone they care about. And tragically, in this case, that someone is the Queen Consort herself. It all began a few months back when Camilla started feeling off. Her back hurt constantly. She felt drained all the time, and she began losing weight unexpectedly. At first, she didn't think much of it. Maybe it was just exhaustion or the natural effects of aging. After all, life in the royal spotlight is demanding, and Camilla has been tirelessly attending event after event. But instead of getting better, her condition continued to decline. She started struggling to stay on her feet for long periods during royal functions. Even simple gestures like waving or smiling began to feel like hard work. To confirm how she felt, she underwent a series of medical tests. The visits to the hospital kept piling up, and after weeks of waiting and uncertainty, her doctors gave her the devastating news that she has multiple myeloma. It was heartbreaking news, and Camilla didn't want the world to hear about it through whispers or speculation, so she chose to speak out herself. With quiet courage and visible emotion, she sat down with a royal journalist and shared her truth. Her voice was soft and shaky, but she stayed calm and composed as she told the world what she was facing. Along with the interview, Buckingham Palace also issued a formal statement, thanking the public for the kindness and support shown to her during this time. Camilla opened up about the moment she was told she had cancer, saying it felt like her whole world suddenly collapsed. But despite the fear and shock, she made it clear she was ready to fight with all the strength she had. She wasn't giving up. For those unfamiliar with it, multiple myeloma is a type of cancer that starts in the bone marrow, specifically in the plasma cells that are supposed to protect the body from infections. When those cells turn cancerous, they begin causing damage instead of helping. The tricky part is that the early signs like fatigue, pain in the back, frequent illnesses, and fragile bones can easily be mistaken for ordinary stress or age. That's what makes the disease so dangerous. It quietly grows inside the body until it's already caused serious harm. This cancer doesn't just stay in one place. It spreads, attacking the bones, kidneys, and immune system. Survival often depends on how soon it's caught. Some people are able to live for years with treatment, while others may have much less time. Right now, there's still no full cure for it. Treatments like chemotherapy, radiation, and stem cell therapy can help manage the disease and slow it down, but they don't remove it completely. Since it mostly affects people over the age of 65, Camilla's diagnosis is especially alarming. Many women her age don't even know they're sick until the disease has already progressed. Health experts from around the world have praised Camilla's decision to share her diagnosis so publicly. They believe it will help more people learn about this rare cancer and might encourage others to seek help early, possibly saving lives in the process. Of course, this diagnosis doesn't just affect her health, it also changes everything about her life as queen. Being a royal is not just about fancy clothes and waving to crowds. It's a tough, full-time job that includes countless events, speeches, charity work, and international trips. It takes energy and emotional strength, and right now Camilla needs to focus on healing. People close to the royal household have said that she has already started stepping away from many of her duties. Several public appearances have been called off, and insiders say this might just be the beginning. Her doctors have told her she needs rest and must begin treatment soon, which includes strong medications and possibly chemotherapy. King Charles, who deeply loves Camilla, is said to be heartbroken. He's been standing by her, supporting her through every step, and now there's talk that he might even reduce his own work schedule so he can be with her more often during this difficult period. What makes it all the more heartbreaking is that the king himself is also sick. He was recently diagnosed with cancer, though the palace hasn't shared which kind. So now, both the king and queen are battling serious illnesses at the same time. Prince William and Kate Middleton are said to be extremely concerned. With both of the senior royals unwell, there's a chance that more responsibilities will fall on their shoulders. Even Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, despite their strained relationship with the royal family, have reportedly reached out privately to offer support and express concern. Now questions are starting to rise about what all of this means for the future of the monarchy. Will King Charles and Camilla fully step away from their roles? Will Prince William need to take on more responsibilities sooner than expected? Royal crisis and secret memoir. Scandal Queen. Camilla has shown a lot of strength in the middle of everything that's going on. In a recent interview, she opened up about how she feels and what she plans to do moving forward. She thanked everyone who had taken the time to send her kind letters, say prayers, and show support. Her words were deeply emotional and moved many people. She said she's always tried to face challenges with strength and dignity. She admitted that this chapter of her life is hard, but she finds comfort knowing she's surrounded by love from her family, her husband, and the people of the country. She expressed deep gratitude for all of it. Camilla also said she wants to spend more time with her children and grandchildren while she undergoes treatment. Her priority now is cherishing moments with loved ones and focusing on what matters most. But that doesn't mean she's stepping away completely. She promised to keep supporting the causes close to her heart, like programs that help women, support victims of domestic maltreatment, and encourage reading. Of course, all this depends on how her health holds up and what advice she receives from her doctors. Before ending her message, she made a gentle but powerful request. She encouraged everyone to listen to their bodies and go for regular checkups. She hopes her own situation will inspire people to take better care of their health. With both King Charles and Queen Camilla now facing serious health battles, there's a lot of uncertainty. For hundreds of years, the royal family has been seen as a symbol of strength and continuity. But right now, things feel different and even fragile. There are quiet talks happening among insiders about the idea of a regency. If King Charles becomes too unwell to continue his duties, Prince William might need to step in temporarily and handle royal responsibilities. It's not something that would happen immediately, but the fact that such conversations are happening shows just how serious things are behind the scenes. Some royal experts believe that these events could forever change the face of the monarchy. Yet, at the same time, many people now see the royals in a more human way. They're no longer just figures on a balcony or names in the news. They're real people dealing with fear, pain, and love, just like everyone else. Camilla and Charles are now viewed by many as a wife and husband, grandparents and parents, simply trying to get through a difficult time. People's reactions are mixed. Some are pouring out support, sending love and good wishes. Others are quietly wondering if the monarchy can survive if its top two members are too sick to lead. Will people still stand by the royal family if there's no clear leadership? Well, it is certain that the coming months are going to be extremely important. The royal family will need to make some very tough choices. But for now, what matters most is that Camilla gets better. Her diagnosis has left many feelings sad and worried. And right now everyone's watching to see what happens next. Then, just as the world was still trying to process all of this, a new wave of drama hit the royal household. Queen Camilla, the same woman who had stood loyally beside King Charles for years, suddenly found herself in the middle of a royal storm, one that could bring her time as queen to a sudden stop. A big decision was made, and there was no turning back. The palace, once seen as powerful and in control, was now a place of hushed conversations and growing tension. People had always had strong opinions about Camilla. Some admired her strength, others never fully accepted her. But now everything has changed. The news had spread faster than anyone imagined, and the truth could no longer be kept a secret. Nobody ever thought her journey as queen would take such a sudden and dramatic turn. She had spent years standing by King Charles, taking on her duties, slowly gaining acceptance from the public. But sometimes one unexpected moment can flip everything upside down, especially in a world as tightly controlled as the royal family. It all began with whispers, small rumors that most people ignored. But within days, those whispers became one of the most explosive royal scandals in recent memory. It was a journalist who broke the story. He said he had undeniable proof that Camilla had secretly been working on a very personal book, something like a memoir, but it wasn't just a soft and gentle look back on her royal duties. No, this one was different. It was said to include deeply private information, hidden conversations, and moments the royal family never wanted the world to see. What shocked everyone even more was the claim that a whole section was about Camilla's true feelings toward Princess Diana, including personal memories that had never been shared before. At first, the palace tried to stay quiet. People and Theo thought it was just another made-up story meant to cause drama. But soon other sources stepped forward. People who had supposedly read parts of the book said it was shocking. It didn't just talk about Camilla and Charles's relationship. It revealed sensitive details about Diana's life, family arguments, and even Camilla's thoughts about Prince William and Prince Harry. This wasn't just any book. It was really explosive. Inside the palace, the mood shifted. King Charles was reportedly heartbroken. He had fought for years to make Camilla his queen, hoping the public would one day accept her. And now, after all that, she was accused of betraying him and the whole family. Prince William was said to be extremely upset. He saw it as more than a betrayal. It was like an attack on his mother's memory. People close to the royals said William wanted something to be done immediately. He believed that if Camilla really wrote those things, there was no way she could remain queen. Even Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, who had distanced themselves from the royal family, were rumored to be paying close attention. Some sources said they found the situation ironic, as the same palace that once pushed them away was now in crisis. There were even whispers that Meghan had privately reached out to William, though no one could confirm it. The palace could no longer ignore the issue. Meetings were held in secret. Lawyers, advisors, and senior royals came together to figure out what should happen next. Then, the royal family made a shocking announcement. Queen Camilla was going to be sentenced. The word sentenced caused immediate confusion. Many people thought she was being taken to court, or that she might be arrested. But the royal family doesn't operate like the regular world. Stay tuned as we uncover the next action he took, taking Camilla's royal title in rights. The palace finally broke its silence and released a statement. It didn't directly confirm that Camilla had written the controversial book, but it made clear that the trust had been broken. After everything, they decided to take away all her royal responsibilities. Just like that, Camilla vanished from public life. She was removed from the royal schedule. No more official visits, no more waving from palace balconies, no more walking beside King Charles at grand events. Years of carefully building her public image disappeared in an instant, but it didn't end there. Camilla was told to pack her things and leave every royal home she once lived in. She could no longer stay at Buckingham Palace, Windsor Castle, or even Balmoral. These places, once filled with luxury and tradition, were now completely closed to her. Reports said she was quietly moved to a private property far away from the capital. Some sources believed she left the country altogether, settling in a tiny European village where no one knew her name. Others claimed she was tucked away, deep in the countryside, living a quiet life, far from royal cameras and judgmental eyes. Then came the most shocking part. The palace announced that Camilla would no longer be supported by public funds. All the expenses she once had as a member of the royal family were suddenly cut off. There would be no more taxpayer money for her staff, travel, or security. But the real heartbreak came when it was revealed that even her royal title had been taken away. She was no longer queen consort. From that moment on, she would only be referred to as the Duchess of Cornwall, the title she held before becoming queen. That change said everything. It meant she had been completely removed from the most powerful role she ever held. People were left stunned, and they wondered why they would take such a decision. But royal insiders believe it was a matter of protecting the family name. With so many recent scandals, Prince Andrew's disgrace, Harry and Meghan's dramatic exit, and now this, they needed to prove that no one was above the rules, not even the Queen. Some even say this wasn't just about public image. Prince William, still carrying the pain of losing his mother, may have demanded tough consequences. For him, bringing Diana's name into controversy again was unforgivable. So, what do you think about all these royal scandals and crisis? Do you think it might affect how Camilla relates with the members of the royal family? Let's hear from you in the comments. Remember to hit the like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.